With the launch of the official Trump meme coin, with the launch of the Trump token, the entire crypto market has shifted. Solana started to go down, and the question is there a potential bottom? Does it make sense to buy Trump now at $10? Is there more upside potential? Let's have a look at the on-chain data, the data most people are not considering. Now, unfortunately, in the last 7 days, Trump was one of the worst performing cryptocurrencies. There was only Pi and Memecoin that performed worse. Trump was at number 3 and all other cryptocurrencies performed better this week. Now for this month, the official Trump token is the 7th worst performing token across the top 100. And in the last 60 days, it's the sad number 1. It's the worst performer of them all. There's 99 altcoins in the top 100 that did better than the Trump token. But at some point things have to turn around, right? Because it appears as if there is a floor. This is the long-term chart of the Trump token. And it seems like we're not going down that quickly anymore. It seems like the losses have stopped. And now it's all about going back up. But that's a problem with linear charts. When we look at the logarithmic chart, it's not that clear anymore. The vertical line shows us when the Trump meme coin was launched. This here is the chart of Solana. So that's the blockchain where the token launched. And the day of the Trump meme coin launch pretty much marked the top of the entire market. Since then, Solana fell by 50%. Now, the smaller the asset is in terms of its market cap, the more risk we potentially have, right? Bitcoin is the largest of the cryptocurrencies. It has the least risk. Thus, we should also expect the least return. The more risk we take, the more return we should expect. Otherwise, the risk to return ratio is out of whack. That then in turn means if we buy the Trump token over just Solana, we should expect long-term outperformance as well. So let's have a look at the Trump token, not in US dollars, but relative to Solana. That's what we see in this chart. And here it might be somewhat reasonable to assume that we are rather low. There's a case to be made that since beginning of February, we are just going sideways. Trump is losing as much as Solana. Initially, there was the massive dump, but now the dumping seems to have stopped. At least the Trump-specific dumping. Crypto as a whole went down, but Trump seems to not go down much more. But here's the problem with charts like this. Here's the problem with technical analysis. It's really not that technical, it's much more subjective. Because instead of looking at those lines, we can look at the exact same chart and draw this line over here, right? It's lower lows along the way. It's the same thing, just a line drawn slightly differently, telling a completely different story. Trump is still the largest token in terms of liquidity on the Solana chain. There is $372 million worth of liquidity. And the second largest token after that is TDCCP. It has roughly 5% of that liquidity. On-chain, the Trump token has 647,000 holders, but not all of those holders are created equal. In the last month, we have mainly seen recurring traders, not so many first-time traders trading the token. And even among both of those kinds of traders, the number is going down. The interest continues to wane. The same can be said for the number of token transactions that peaked at the beginning of the month and now continues to go down. Over here, we've got the trading volume. So on the left in US dollars, and on the right normalized to 100% per day. And the trading volume is segregated by different wallet cohorts. So we've got whales, we've got large retail, medium-sized retail, and small retail. We can see that overall trading volume is just a shadow of itself. We're now just trading a few million every day, and there used to be 8 billion of trading volume on the day of launch. We can also see that over time, the larger wallets tend to trade the token less and less, and it's the smaller wallets that trade more. Overall, the number of holders on-chain does not change that much anymore. A few people bought and they simply now continue holding and do nothing with it anymore. That's true for the smaller wallets that have only 100 Trump tokens, so that's $1,000 worth of the token. It's true for the wallets with 1,000 tokens or $10,000 worth of the token. It's also true for the whales with 10,000 tokens or $100,000 worth of the token. They all don't do much with that token anymore. Yet across timeframes, we see how Trump continues to be one of the worst performers. It appears as if the market makers now also start to offload their tokens. They don't want to get diluted either, right? Because more and more Trump tokens unlock over time. They don't want to hold Trump long term, but since the interest is so low and since the trading volume is so low, having Trump on the balance sheet for those market makers and for those centralized exchanges is not very wise. Most trading volume actually does not happen anymore on the Solana chain. It happens on the centralized exchanges now, led by Binance. And on top of that, we've also got bets on the price that's also led by Binance. The perpetual futures are levered instruments on the price, and they tend to move price discovery the most. The issue for the market makers is that the Trump token has a huge market cap. There's simply a lot of value on the balance sheets, and offloading that without depressing the price is hard because it just takes so many purchase orders. Just creating volatility artificially is very expensive, especially since there are so many centralized exchanges involved. So one company might be dumping on the other one. I personally don't have a lot of hope for the Trump token. I do believe that long term it's likely going to continue to underperform. That being said, if there are some positive news every now and then, we might see a price spike. And this is, I believe, where actually the opportunity is. Because overall, it seems like the macro environment is very bearish, prices tend to go down. Sometimes when we get positive news around crypto and the Trump token goes up, this might be an opportunity to bet on falling prices once we see these kinds of price spikes, right? So we do the exact opposite of what we're doing in a bull market. In a bull market, when we see the prices going up, we tend to buy the dips, right? Whenever there's a dip, we tend to buy when prices go up. However, when prices tend to go down, we do the opposite. We short the tops. Whenever there's a price pump that's long-term not justified, and where we believe that the asset long-term goes down, it makes sense to enter the short position at those price peaks. We have made money this way recently with Dogecoin and with Cardano, right? Both of those tokens got pushed up very short-term and then bled further down. And so I share those kinds of trades, how to set them up, how to do this in a risk-friendly way. I share this all in the premium membership down below. So if you don't just want to exit the market and completely give up, if you actually want to take advantage of the current opportunities that aren't that obvious to most people, then feel free to check it out, thebitcoinstrade.com. There's also a 1-week money back guarantee, so in case you don't like premium, just message me within the first 7 days and I'll refund you. Looking forward to seeing you on premium or potentially also over here on YouTube. Feel free to subscribe. A like would be very much appreciated as well. It helps the channel grow. See you next time. Cheers.